So before we get rolling with today's video, I just wanted to let everyone know that we're expanding my Patreon. We have it linked here in the description of this video, so be sure to go over to Patreon and check it out. We've got a lot of cool tiers with a lot of cool perks on there, and we're going to be pumping a lot more exclusive only content to Patreon. I've had a lot of people ask me questions like, when are you going to get back to singing some cover songs? When are we going to get to hear you play some of your jukebox favorites? Well, Patreon is a place that we'll be doing stuff like that, and we have a lot more coming your way. So we don't have outside investors here on the channel, and if you would like to contribute to what I do, you can go over to Patreon and check it out, and I appreciate your support so much, and thanks to everyone here on YouTube for your support as well. But man, J.D. Vance, every time he tries to go dig Donald Trump out of a hole, he just ends up throwing dirt on the guy. Have you guys noticed how that he has absolutely no self-awareness whatsoever? And you could not have set this next clip up any better, because he's asked about Taylor Swift's endorsement, and he just walks head first into the funniest rebuttal that I've ever heard, and doesn't realize as he's saying it that he's absolutely burying the guy he's running alongside. Take a look at this clip, and then we're going to talk more about how JD just always puts his foot right straight in his mouth.
She has 283 million followers on Instagram, and I'm sure that someone brought to your attention that she signed it, childless cat lady. This is a phrase that you are going to hear in your dreams and your nightmares probably for many years to come. How do you speak to women voters who obviously they care about what she thinks?
Of course. Well, look, we admire Taylor Swift's music, but I don't think most Americans, whether they like her music or fans of hers or not, are going to be influenced by a billionaire celebrity who I think is fundamentally disconnected from the interests and the problems of most Americans. Look, when grocery prices go up by 20%, it hurts most Americans. It doesn't hurt Taylor Swift. When housing prices become unaffordable, it doesn't affect Taylor Swift or any other billionaire. It does affect middle-class Americans all over our country. And so
okay, before we even talk about the billionaire part, I love how MAGA always says that celebrities should stay out of politics, that Americans, hardworking Americans, just aren't interested in what a celebrity has to say, and a celebrity should keep their politics to themselves, when the front runner, the leader of their movement, is a celebrity. That's what he is. Okay, he was a failed businessman. He has literally this guy bankrupted casinos. Okay, so he's not a smart businessman. He was a dude who gave his daddy's money, and he blew through it, and he became a celebrity along the way. So when they come off with this whole idea of we shouldn't listen to celebrities, you're voting for a celebrity. And you want to talk about billionaires, and well, no one would listen to Taylor Swift because she's a billionaire. You guys have Donald Trump as the leader of your movement, a guy who has never been affected by price changes at all. His life doesn't change. If gas prices go up, does it matter to Donald Trump's world? No, someone's always driving him where he's going. When's the last time he even drove himself? I would be curious to know that. When he actually goes out and just jumps in the car and goes to town on his own and picks up his own groceries or does anything for himself. He doesn't. If the price at the grocery store goes up the slightest bit, it doesn't affect him or his life at all. And when he had a chance to make our lives better, he didn't. He absolutely gaslit everyone into thinking, on MAGA's side anyway, into thinking that he was a good president. He wasn't. Those wasn't productive years. Anyone that honestly thinks they were is truly delusional. And he literally conned everyone into believing these things. He's not. This is a guy who is a billionaire celebrity, who is completely disconnected with the American people, and who is only running to avoid accountability. And we've sat back and watched him do everything. It's all on audio, all on video. It's right there for the world to see. But yet we get called crazy when we point these things out. I've said so many times, and I know it gets repetitive, but it's worth repeating because I wish people in my part of the world could understand. This guy has never walked down a dirt road in his life. He's never had sweat on his brow. He's never had calluses on his hands. He's never got up and went to work every day. He's never sat late at night around the table with his family trying to figure up his bills to figure out where the money was going to go. He's never had to worry about that. He's never sat there. We all have been there. We all have been there going, hey, how many times has Donald Trump ever had to look at one of his children and say, you know what, put that back. You can't get that today. How many times has he ever had to deal with any of that? None of them have. Him and his entire family are a family of spoiled celebrities. So you want to point over at Taylor Swift? Well, at least Taylor Swift's an artist. At least Taylor Swift actually creates art, something meaningful in the world that means something to a whole lot of people. Name me one thing Donald Trump ever created in this universe that has any true meaning out there. He doesn't. But I just love how J.D. Vance, every time he gets a chance, throws more dirt on Donald Trump. And this next clip from Midas Touch, they put together a compilation of JD's greatest hits of just throwing dirt in Trump's face. And it's so great. Roll the clip.
Most Americans are going to be influenced by a billionaire celebrity who I think is fundamentally disconnected from the interests and the problems of most Americans. I think if you watch the debate, you're sitting at home, you're an undecided voter, what you saw is a person who repeats slogans.
We're going to make America great again.
Drill, baby, drill.
Instead of respecting you enough to treat you like an adult.
I just don't understand a person in American politics in 2024 who's whining about what happened to them instead of using their leadership and using their influence to make the lives of American citizens better.
And we would have had a deal if the election weren't rigged and stolen.
I'd like to know how you were prepping for a debate with Tim Walz, who has described himself as a bad debater. Who's helping you, and how are you prepping?
Well, I found a good friend from back home who embellishes and lies a lot, and I'm having him stand in for Tim Walz.
People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics.
And we're not going to reward people who gaslight us and lie to us about what they've done in office.
We were hit with the COVID came in. We focused on that. We did a great job.
That is hilarious. Let's just go ahead and break those down one at a time. So we don't need anyone who repeats slogans. This is coming from the group of people who has slogans on every piece of merch you could imagine. They've got flags with slogans. They've got shirts with slogans. They've got bumper stickers with slogans. Hell, they even put slogans on the front of a Bible. They even put slogans on sneakers. They are the party of slogans. So to sit and say he just repeats slogans, they make a living off slogans. They literally have cashed in on every slogan they could think of. And then he wants to talk about whining about what's happened to them. That's all Donald Trump has done his entire life, is whine about what has happened to him. While he was president, he was whining about what was happening to him. After he left office, he's been doing nothing but whining about the fact that he lost and whining about what's happened to him. That's his entire rallies, is him standing there whining about what has happened to him. And then he wants to talk about we don't need people who embellishes and lies. Really? No one has embellished and lied more than Donald Trump. And then he says we're not going to reward those who gaslight us. Donald Trump is the absolute master. If he's masterful at anything, it's grifting and gaslighting. That's his whole shtick. That's it. So every time JD tries to talk, he has no self-awareness whatsoever, and he just walks head first into these things. And then we sit back and we're going, really? And I see people all the time saying, oh, I don't listen to celebrities. I don't care what their opinion is. Celebrities should stay out of politics. You're voting for a celebrity. That's who you're voting for. So why don't you just say what you really feel? I get so sick of hearing people in my part of the world preach to the choir, and I get so sick of hearing them play it safe. Listen, if you are a Trump supporter in East Tennessee, that's not a controversial opinion to have, okay? So you can go ahead and you can lean all the way into it. You can just say it out loud. So you don't have to say things like, hey, we're tired of celebrities out there getting people, to vote. We're tired of celebrities expressing their opinion. You don't have to say that. You can just say, hey, we hate Taylor Swift and we love Donald Trump and we don't give a damn if he's a celebrity or not. We don't give a damn if he's a billionaire or not. Oh, he's the billionaire of the common man and we love him. You can go ahead and say that. You don't have to start off your sentences with, well, now I'm just going to say it. We're tired of celebrities or we're tired of billionaires. You can go ahead and say that you love Trump because we all know you do anyway. You're not hiding from anyone. So as long as there's a live microphone, Donald Trump will lie into it, Donald Trump will grift into it, and Donald Trump will gaslight into it. And as long as there's a live microphone, J.D. Vance will go out and will continue to trip over his words and just throw Trump under the bus. And as long as those two are around, we're going to have a fun time just laughing our asses off at this. And it's going to be so fun when this is all over and he loses and we see J.D. Vance. Well, really, I never was a Trump guy. I wasn't a Trump guy. Yeah, it's coming. Just wait. He'll really walk into it head first when they lose, and it's going to be glorious to watch.